Unions. There's not a single union type. We've got marriage unions and personal unions. So how do this work in EU5? So far, not so good, and they are kind of confusing, but don't worry, because I'm here to explain everything about them. First things first, how to form them. There are 4 ways to form a personal union, and the first one is by getting a common heir that eventually takes over the throne of 2 nations at the same time. This is easier than by forming a marriage union, such as this one I have right now with the County of Gruyere. As you can see, my queen is the spouse of the Count of Gruyere, and as soon as they have a kid, this kid will be the heir to both Gruyere and Castile, and if this ruler gets to rule over both Castile and Gruyere at the same time, then Gruyere will be added to the Castilian-Portuguese Union. The second and the third way to get a union are the most obvious ones, but they still have to be on this list. The second way is to use the claim throne casus belli and actually winning the war. And the third one is, of course, by scripted events, such as the one Poland gets with Hungary. Now we go with the fourth and the rarest one. This is by inviting someone's ruler to become yours as well while you are in a regency. As you can see, there we are as Novgorod, and we don't have a ruler. We have a regent, but not a ruler. So we can go and open the diplomatic actions with Muscovy, go to influence actions and invite their prince. Then we click on OK, and boom, now we are on the Muscovite Vladimirian Union. Keep in mind, the AI can also form unions by this means, and that you can end up taking over those unions, so do not be scared to let them form them. Now we go with point number 2. What is their purpose? Both unions work as defensive alliances, but personal unions can be further refined by passing union policies. Those union policies will usually let you pick to either get some buff for all of the union members or tightening the union, but there are some other policies, such as the mutual offense law. As I said, all unions work as defensive alliances, but the personal unions can also work as offensive alliances. This changes depending on the policy you select for this law. It can go from members never joining to members having to join unconditionally. This could be a double-edged sword, because just as you can call your partners into your war, they can call you too into their wars. This can be fixed by changing the law as much as you need, and only move it back to assured offense if you really need to call your partners in. But you might be wondering, what does tightening the union do? Point number 3. The question of unification. The question of unification law again lets you pick between some policy that buffs every union member or tightening the union. However, the tightening this time couldn't go more far, as this lets you annex your lesser union partners if you wish to do it. At this point, you might have noticed every policy gives certain buff called annexation speed. This of course allows you to annex your partners quicker, but how does this exactly work? Annexing nations isn't always worth it. As you can see, if either trying to annex Bohemia, I'll be stuck for 250 years trying to do so before it actually happens. This is because these policies aren't the only source for annexation speed. So how do we make this wait shorter? Point number 4. Speeding up annexation. As you can see, our vassal Navarra is going to be annexed in 5 years. This is because of 3 factors. The first one being the base speed. This value is 1 for a vassal, but for unions it can go up to 3, depending on our integration level. Then we have the size of country modifier. This one obviously refers to the relative size of both countries. This can scale up to plus 1000%. And then the third one is the most tricky modifier, as it involves the subject cultural tradition and our cultural influence. As you can see, right now we have plus 100%, but this is because I enforced our Castilian culture on Navarra, but before doing this, I only had plus 11%. To make it short and easy to understand, let's say cultural tradition is a defensive stat and cultural influence is an offensive stat. So, as we have no way to reduce our subject cultural tradition, we have to increase our cultural influence. This can be done in many ways, such as hiring or investing in artists, having high literacy, or of course, building stuff that gives you all of those at once, such as libraries or universities. Now, this is of course calculated before applying the most important modifier for that matter, diplomatic annexation speed. Now, is it worth it to do all of this to integrate a union? Point number 5. The alternative to integration. Sometimes, even after doing all of this, annexation will still take too long. Sometimes it is not an issue, as you can even use an already existing partner to annex others quicker. This can be done by calling the Union Parliament. Using this on a subject equalizes their integration level to the other members in the Union. This allows you to integrate new lesser partners way quicker, but even without this, you can still use your partners for purely military purposes. The issue comes when you really want that land. Imagine you're playing Sweden or Norway and want the provinces owned by the other. Your best bet at this point is simply breaking the union and conquer by war. No matter how much literacy you stack, this sword is actually stronger than the book. And this is the current state of the unions in EU5. I hope it gets polished in the future because in my opinion, many things don't make any sense right now. But with all that being said, I've got nothing left to say on the matter. Consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below if you wanna see more content like this. But for now, I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.